I sat down with ChatGPT and asked it one simple question for 20 different jobs. Can you do this person's job? And I didn't ask vaguely. I gave it real job descriptions pulled from real job postings on Indeed and LinkedIn. Some of the answers made me laugh. Some of them genuinely made my stomach drop. And at least one of them should probably make you update your resume tonight. Here's what I did. I went on Indeed and LinkedIn and pulled 20 actual job postings. Current ones, real companies, real descriptions, real requirements. Then I fed each one, word for word, into the latest version of ChatGPT, and I asked it a very specific question. Can you perform every single task listed in this job description? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 meaning you can't do any of it. 10 meaning you could do this job right now, today, without a human being involved at all. Then I took all 20 results and sorted them into 3 categories. Red means AI said yes, I can fully replace this person. Yellow means AI said I can do a lot of it, but not everything. And green means AI admitted it cannot do this job. The results created a pattern that I honestly was not expecting, and that pattern is going to tell you more about the future of your career than any news article or think piece you've read this year. Let's start with the red zone. These are the jobs where AI looked at the job description and essentially said, yeah, I can do all of this right now. No problem. First up, data entry clerk. I fed in a posting from a mid-sized logistics company. The responsibilities were exactly what you'd expect. Inputting shipment data, updating spreadsheets, cross-referencing records, generating daily reports. ChatGPT rated itself a 10 out of 10. It didn't hesitate. It said, I can perform every single task in this description faster and more accurately than a human. And it's right. There is nothing in a standard data entry role that AI cannot do today. Not tomorrow, not next year. Today. Next, customer service representative. This was a posting from a large telecom company. Handle inbound calls, resolve billing issues, process returns, escalate complex cases, maintain customer satisfaction scores. ChatGPT gave itself a 9 out of 10. It said it could handle the overwhelming majority of inquiries, resolve most issues instantly, and maintain a consistent tone that never gets frustrated, never has a bad day, never puts a customer on hold for 11 minutes. The one point it docked itself was for rare emotional escalations where a customer is genuinely distressed and needs a human being to acknowledge their frustration in a way that feels real. But for 9 out of 10 interactions, it said it could do the job without breaking a sweat. Bookkeeper. A posting from a small accounting firm. Manage accounts, payable and receivable. Reconcile bank statements, prepare financial reports, process payroll. 9 out of 10. ChatGPT said it could handle every transactional and computational element of this job. The only area where it pulled back slightly was in situations requiring professional judgment about unusual transactions or direct client communication about sensitive financial matters. But the core work, the daily grind of bookkeeping, it said it could do that right now with near-perfect accuracy. Junior copywriter. This one stung a little because I know a lot of people in this field. The posting was from a digital marketing agency. Write blog posts, social media captions, email newsletters, product descriptions, ad copy. ChatGPT gave itself an 8 out of 10. It said it could produce all of those deliverables at a quality level that would pass review at most agencies. It acknowledged that it lacks genuine creative intuition and the ability to draw from lived human experience, which is why it didn't say 10. But an 8 out of 10 for a job that tens of thousands of people do every day, that's not a comfortable number. Paralegal. A posting from a mid-sized law firm. Conduct legal research, draft documents, organize case files, summarize depositions, prepare filings. 8 out of 10. ChatGPT said legal research is one of its strongest capabilities. It can review case law, identify relevant precedents, and draft legal documents faster than any human paralegal. Where it falls short is in the judgment calls. Knowing which details matter to a specific attorney's strategy, understanding the politics of a courtroom, reading between the lines of a witness statement. But the research and drafting and organization, it said it could do that all day long. So that's the red zone. 5 jobs where AI essentially said, I can do this. And I want you to notice something about all 5 of those roles. We'll come back to it. Now, let's move into the yellow zone. This is where it gets more nuanced and honestly more interesting. These are the jobs where AI said, I can do a significant portion of this, but there are real gaps. Marketing manager. A posting from a consumer goods company. Develop marketing strategies, manage campaign budgets, analyze performance data, coordinate with creative teams, build relationships with media partners, present results to leadership. ChatGPT gave itself a 6 out of 10. It said the analysis and reporting pieces it could crush. Budget optimization, data interpretation, trend identification, campaign performance tracking. All of that, it said, it could do better and faster than most humans. But relationship building with media partners, presenting to a room full of executives and reading their body language and adjusting the pitch in real time, managing a creative team through a tough deadline when morale is low, it said those are fundamentally human skills that it cannot replicate, so 6 out of 10, which means a marketing manager isn't getting replaced by AI. But a marketing manager who doesn't learn to use AI is getting replaced by a marketing manager who does. Software developer. This was a mid-level posting from a SaaS company. Write and maintain code, debug applications, participate in code reviews, collaborate with product teams on feature development, make architectural decisions. ChatGPT split its answer, which I thought was fascinating. For routine code, bug fixes, boilerplate features, and standard implementation work, it gave itself a 7 out of 10. It said it can write functional code across multiple languages, debug common issues, and generate solutions faster than most mid-level developers. But for architectural decisions, understanding the long-term implications of a technical choice on a system that serves millions of users, making trade-offs that require deep context about the business and the user base, it gave itself a 3 out of 10. So if you're a developer who mostly writes routine code, you should be nervous. If you're the person making the big-picture technical decisions, you've got more time. But even that window is closing. Accountant. A posting from a regional firm. Prepare tax returns, manage client portfolios, conduct audits, provide financial advisory services, ensure regulatory compliance. ChatGPT gave itself a 7 out of 10 for the processing and compliance side, tax preparation, data analysis, identifying deductions, generating reports. It said it could do all of that reliably. But for the advisory side, the part where you sit across from a small business owner and help them understand what their numbers mean for their family's future, where you build a relationship over years and understand their goals and fears and risk tolerance, it gave itself a 4. So the math part of accounting is at risk. The human part is not, at least not yet. HR coordinator, a posting from a healthcare company. Schedule interviews, manage onboarding paperwork, maintain employee records, coordinate benefits enrollment, handle basic employee inquiries. 6 out of 10. ChatGPT said the administrative side of HR is almost entirely automatable. Scheduling, record-keeping, document management, answering frequently asked questions about PTO policies and benefits. But handling a sensitive employee conflict, navigating the politics of a termination, sitting across from someone and telling them their position has been eliminated, those require a kind of emotional intelligence and situational awareness that AI does not have. So that's the yellow zone. And notice the pattern starting to form. The parts of these jobs that AI can do are the parts that involve processing information, crunching data, following procedures, and generating output on a screen. The parts it can't do involve other human beings in unpredictable, emotionally complex situations. Now the green zone. And honestly, this part surprised me the most. Not because of what AI said it couldn't do, but because of how clearly and honestly it admitted its limitations. Electrician. I fed in a posting from a commercial electrical contractor. Install and maintain electrical systems, read blueprints, troubleshoot wiring issues, ensure code compliance, work on active job sites. ChatGPT gave itself a 2 out of 10, and its explanation was almost funny. It said, I have no physical form. I cannot hold a tool, climb a ladder, pull wire through a wall, or stand in a building and feel that something is wrong with a circuit based on a smell or a sound. I can provide theoretical knowledge about electrical systems, but I cannot perform any physical task required by this job. 2 out of 10. Nurse. A posting from a hospital system. Provide direct patient care, administer medications, monitor vital signs, communicate with physicians, support patients and families during critical moments. 1 out of 10. ChatGPT said, this is one of the jobs I am furthest from being able to perform. I cannot take a blood pressure reading. I cannot start an IV. I cannot hold a patient's hand during a frightening diagnosis. I cannot make a split-second judgment call during a medical emergency based on physical cues that I can observe with human senses. It gave itself the lowest possible score without giving itself a 0, and it said the 1 point was only because it could theoretically help with documentation and record-keeping. Therapist. A licensed clinical therapist posting. Conduct therapy sessions, develop treatment plans, provide crisis intervention, maintain therapeutic relationships, diagnose mental health conditions. 3 out of 10. And ChatGPT's answer here was genuinely thoughtful. It said, I can provide information about therapeutic techniques. I can offer coping strategies based on evidence-based research. But I cannot form a genuine therapeutic alliance with a human being. The healing that happens in therapy comes from the relationship between two people, from the experience of being truly seen and heard by another human consciousness. I do not have consciousness. I can simulate empathy. I cannot feel it. And that distinction matters in this job more than almost any other. 3 out of 10. Construction manager, a posting from a general contractor. Oversee job sites, manage subcontractors, ensure safety compliance, solve on-site problems in real time, coordinate deliveries and timelines. 2 out of 10. ChatGPT said, I can generate project timelines. I can analyze budgets. But I cannot walk a job site and notice that a foundation pour doesn't look right. I cannot manage a crew of 30 subcontractors who all have different personalities, priorities, and problems. I cannot make the kind of rapid, high-stakes decisions that construction managers make every single day based on conditions that change by the hour. Trial lawyer, a posting from a litigation firm, represent clients in court, conduct depositions, argue motions, examine witnesses, develop case strategy, persuade juries. 4 out of 10. ChatGPT gave itself credit for research, document review, and case analysis, which it said it could do at an extremely high level. But it said, I cannot stand in a courtroom. I cannot read a jury's body language and adjust my argument in real time. I cannot cross-examine a hostile witness and apply pressure based on subtle cues in their voice and demeanor. I cannot build the kind of trust with a client that makes them believe I will fight for them. The practice of law at the trial level is a fundamentally human performance, and I cannot perform it. Now here's the part that changed how I think about all of this. Look at the red zone jobs again. Data entry clerk, customer service rep, bookkeeper, junior copywriter, paralegal. What do they all have in common? Every single one of them is a job where you sit at a computer and process information. You take data in, you do something with it, and you produce an output on a screen all day, every day. Now look at the green zone: electrician, nurse, therapist, construction manager, trial lawyer. What do they have in common? Every single one of them requires your physical body, your human judgment, your ability to read a room, your ability to make decisions in chaotic, unpredictable environments where no 2 days are the same. This is what I'm calling the screen test. If your entire job happens on a screen, if everything you do could theoretically be observed and replicated by an AI watching your monitor, you are in the red zone. Maybe not today, maybe not this quarter, but soon. If your job requires you to be somewhere physically, interacting with the real world and real people in real time, you have more runway. The Bureau of Labor Statistics data backs this up. The sectors losing the most jobs right now are information processing, administrative support, and routine knowledge work. The sectors that are still growing are healthcare, skilled trades, and roles that require complex interpersonal interaction. But here's where I need to tell you the part that most people making content about AI won't say because it's uncomfortable. The real danger isn't full replacement, it's compression. Most companies are not going to fire every human and replace them with robots. That's the science fiction version. The reality is worse in some ways. What companies are going to do is fire 60% of a team and give the remaining 40% AI tools. And those remaining people will be expected to produce the same output that the full team used to produce. 1 person plus AI now equals the output of 5 people. And that means the total number of available jobs shrinks dramatically, even if the jobs themselves don't disappear entirely. Fewer positions, more applicants, more competition for every opening. And when there's more competition, wages go down. Klarna showed us exactly how this works. They deployed one AI chatbot that replaced 700 customer service agents. Not 700 agents reduced to 350. 700 agents replaced by one system. The work still gets done. The customers still get answers. But 700 people are now looking for work in a market that has 700 fewer jobs in it. And every other company in that industry is watching Klarna and thinking, we should do that too. So what do you actually do about this? Because knowing the problem without having a plan is just anxiety. And I don't want to leave you with anxiety. I want to leave you with a strategy. Step 1, run this exact test yourself. Take your own job description. If you don't have one, go on Indeed or LinkedIn and find a posting that matches what you do. Copy it word for word. Paste it into ChatGPT. Ask it the same question I asked. Can you perform every task in this description? Rate yourself 1 to 10 and be honest with yourself about the answer. Don't argue with it. Don't get defensive. Just look at the number and accept it as a starting point. Step 2, identify which parts of your job are AI-proof. Every job, even the red zone ones, has some element that requires human judgment, human relationships, or human presence. Find those elements. Write them down, because those are the parts of your role that you need to lean into and build around. Step 3, and this is the most important one, become the person who uses AI, not the person who gets replaced by it. In every company that's going through this transition, there are 2 types of employees. There's the person who says, I don't need AI, I've been doing this job for 15 years and I'm good at it. And there's the person who says, show me how to use this tool so I can do my job 10 times faster. The first person is on the layoff list, the second person is getting promoted. That is the reality right now in corporate America. The people who survive this transition aren't the ones who fight AI. They're the ones who grab it and use it before anyone tells them to. Step 4. Start building skills in the areas that AI cannot touch. Physical skills, interpersonal skills, leadership, negotiation, the ability to walk into a room and make people trust you, the ability to solve a problem that doesn't have a clear answer, the ability to manage human beings through uncertainty and chaos. These are the skills that will be worth more in 5 years than they've ever been worth before, precisely because everything else is being automated. The people who come out of this transition ahead aren't going to be the ones who pretended it wasn't happening. They're going to be the ones who looked at the data, understood where things were heading, and made their move while there was still time to make one. Drop your job title in the comments. I'm not kidding. I will run this test for you personally and tell you exactly where you stand. I've been doing this every week, and the responses have been eye-opening for a lot of people. Sometimes the answer is reassuring, sometimes it's a wake-up call. Either way, you're better off knowing. If this video opened your eyes to something you hadn't fully considered before, hit subscribe. I cover AI and the job market every single week with real data, real examples, and real strategies. Not hype, not fear-mongering, just the truth about what's happening and what you can do about it. I'll see you in the next one.